A scientist has warned that NASA faces a big problem with their last-ditch plan to save Earth from an impending asteroid that has the potential to cause total annihilation on Earth. Asteroids are the small rocky bodies in the inner solar system orbiting the sun. There are millions of them flying around space, and their collisions, known as impact events, have played a significant role in shaping many planets. NASA is constantly watching the skies, categorizing any near-Earth objects, NEOs, as potentially hazardous objects, FO, if they could pose a threat to life on Earth. However, if a distant space rock does manage to slip through the space agency's defense, there are several desperate measures that can be taken to save life on Earth. Dr. Natalie Starkey revealed one of the more far-fetched options during her new book Catching Stardust. She wrote last year, "If we have very limited time, then we require an approach that can work in weeks or months. So, a more drastic method to avoid an impact with Earth, one that could work on any object regardless of its composition, might be called for. How about using a nuclear weapon?" It may sound like total madness, but believe it or not, scientists are looking at the possibility of firing such a device at a space object to blow it into tiny pieces, maybe even reducing it to a cloud of gas and liquid droplets. It may sound like a great solution, but there's a potentially big problem. The Cosmochemist sent a dire warning to the boffins at NASA should they choose to pursue this route. She explained, the resultant shrapnel from such an explosion, however small, would be highly radioactive, so it's probably not something we would want raining down on the planet. This would almost certainly be the case if we blew up the object at short notice if it was heading towards us. If the object was one that passed Earth frequently, moving ever closer to impact with each orbit, then it could be blown up in a preemptive strike on one of its prior close Earth visits before the one that was predicted to cause total annihilation, nuking it as it was heading away from Earth. In this way, any radioactive fallout from the destruction wouldn't affect life on Earth. It may sound like a relief that, whatever happens, there is a strategy. However, Dr. Starkey warned that using a nuclear weapon in space could have severe consequences to world politics. She continued, there are some further complications. First, according to the Outer Space Treaty, nuclear weapons are not permitted to be used in space. Maybe in an extraordinary circumstance, such as a major threat to Earth, an exception could be made to save us from impending doom. Second, a modern-day nuclear warhead probably wouldn't survive the impact energies associated with this course of action. Instead, it would more than likely need to be detonated close to the space objects for the nuclear blast energy to nudge it to a different course, otherwise known as a nuclear standoff explosion. Asteroid 101955 Bennu, formerly known as 1999 RQ-36, is a potentially hazardous object listed on the Sentry Risk Table with the second highest cumulative rating on the Palermo Technical Impact Hazard Scale. Investigators have already warned the space agency that it could be devastating if they do not act. According to a study by scientist Maria Eugenia Sansaccirio, the 1999 asteroid may impact the Earth. Dr. Sansaccirio warned in a report for the solar system journal Icarus that there is a good chance of the asteroid striking. She told Universe Today in 2010, the total impact probability of asteroid 1999 RQ-36 can be estimated as 0.00092, approximately 1 in 1,000 chance, but what is most surprising is that over half of this chance, 0.00054, corresponds to 2,182. However, NASA has a less destructive move for Bennu. The space agency is currently running a mission with its OSIRIS-REx spacecraft to find out more about the rock. The spacecraft spent 2 years chasing Bennu down, before orbiting it for another 2 years and taking samples. Then, in 2023, it will blast back to Earth to allow scientists from around the world to study it. The mission team is particularly interested in learning the role that asteroids like Bennu, dark, primitive and apparently carbon-rich, may have played in creating life on Earth. It will also help scientists to refine the odds of a strike on Earth.